Hey there, I'm Michelle, and welcome to the Leadership Growth Lab, the podcast where we ditch the leadership fluff and get into what actually works. If you're a new or emerging leader trying to figure out how to lead people without losing your mind or your integrity, you're in the right place. I've spent over 30 years leading teams, making mistakes, and learning the hard way so you don't have to. This isn't about motivational posters and feel-good quotes. This is real talk, real stories, and real strategies to help you become the leader you're meant to be. Let's get into it.
Good morning, and today's a leadership lesson. I want to talk about when you are working with employee and trying to help them improve their performance. And it becomes a situation where they actually really need to improve their performance, or unfortunately, you're going to have to start using progressive discipline to move them out of the job. And what role you play in that transformation of that employee. As leaders, our job is to set the expectations, set the standards, our team accountable to reaching and executing those standards. But in between that is the coaching part. It is helping our team members achieve those goals by removing obstacles if we can, helping them navigate around any challenges that they're having, and providing them with the knowledge and skills so that they are equipped to meet those standards. However, you do all that, and then sometimes there is just a situation where you cannot get that person to improve, right? No matter what you try, just they're not improving, or they are just not meeting the standards. And, you're not sure at the beginning if this is just a training gap, a knowledge gap. But once you've provided all of that, you start realizing this is neither one of those. This is not a training or knowledge gap. They've provided all of this. Now this is a performance gap. So our responsibility as leaders is to be a resource for them to seek out assistance when there is a performance gap. Let me say that again. Our role is to be a resource for them about assistance and guidance in navigating around their challenges. It is not us forcing things down people's throats. It is not necessarily micromanaging them, but it is holding them accountable still for results. So I have a situation, and I've had a couple situations over the years, but I have a situation currently where it's somebody who's been in the role for a very long time, noticing a lot of issues with attention to detail, communication, things of that nature. And this is something that they had that brought to their attention before, even prior to me being there, that I've had several. Recently, we had a whole slew of things go on um, that all related to these things with this person. So, what I need to do now, um, very straightforward, holding them accountable. It's a note to file that may decide not to. And then I am providing them with a performance improvement plan. Now, some places you don't get a performance improvement plan unless you've been like on a final written warning. Um, Others, it's meant to be like a coaching and development plan. So every business will handle this differently, but a performance improvement plan gives very clear, targeted bullet points, dates, goals, achievements that need to be met in order for that employee to continue on an upward path. Should these things not be met by those specific dates to the satisfactory level, then you now are looking at progress. did all of the coaching and development. And now this person has to seek out the necessary assistance that they need, and they need to take the necessary actions themselves. I do not have the power to improve their performance. Only they have the power to do that. That was a very tough lesson at a past job where I was trying to develop her, trying to work with her on some of her, struggles and weaknesses, and trying to remove obstacles and provide her extra coaching. And I took several different avenues to try to help. I always looked at it was my job to make her improve. And that if she didn't improve, that was my failure. It took me a long time to realize the person you're coaching, the person you're developing has a choice. It has a responsibility in that process. And if they do not take the necessary steps, or they just fail to improve, that's not my job. That's not my fault. I have to cut my ties then. That is their responsibility and their job. It took me a very long time to come to that. So in this situation as well, I don't know how this will play out, but I can provide everything possible for this person to improve. And if they fail to, then that is on them, not me. And ultimately, it means that we may have to move on and go separate ways. Because what I'm not willing to do is to sacrifice the performance of the team because I have a weak link. So that person either needs to rise to the occasion, fulfill the expectations, or they need to move on. And that might sound harsh. That might sound mean. You might be like, well, but that person's been there forever. It doesn't matter. Business marches on and expectations and standards go up. And you either need to rise and meet them, or you need to move on to a place where your level of performance is good enough. So that is my leadership lesson for today. Don't beat yourself up too much when people fail to improve, even though you've given your blood, sweat, and tears of trying to help them because you see their potential and you know they can do it. Yeah, I get mad at them when they don't reach their potential and I know they can do it and they're just not doing it. It irritates the crap out of me. But it's not my fight to fight. I can help them, encourage them, all those things. But ultimately, it is their choice to improve. That is the leadership lesson for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.
And that's it for today. Thank you for being part of the Leadership Growth Lab. If you got something out of this episode, share it with a fellow leader and subscribe so we can keep growing together. Lead yourself first. Everything else follows. Catch you next time.